I'm a business person. My product happens to be primarily sports, although for the last 10 years, I've had my own business and I've worked in higher education, healthcare. Because I'm going to speak primarily, I think, tonight from a basketball perspective, hopefully you can apply some things that you hear to your own business. I come to Brampton, the fantastic work that Jen and Prince do at the Entrepreneur Center here is unbelievable. It doesn't exist most places in southwestern Ontario, so I encourage you to take advantage of everything that they have to offer because it's quality stuff.
Like just talk a little bit about how it all started. Like being in Portland, Oregon, part of the NBA. What got you to here in Toronto in 1995?
I went to the University of Oregon. I knew I wanted to be involved in sports, but kind of my goal was to make it to Major League Baseball or to the NBA by the time I was 40. And so I was fortunate enough when I graduated from the University of Oregon to get a job on the staff of the athletic department there, doing communications work for women's sports as well as men's sports. And then one day the phone rang and it was the Portland Trail Blazers of the NBA. Said, our communications director is retiring, would you be interested in talking to us about coming to work for us? So I went up and talked to them and started right away. So I got to the NBA at the age of 26. So I've always been one of the youngest in my career track, which helped. And so I was with the Trailblazers for 8.5 seasons, got to the finals twice. And that really allowed me personally to have a bit of a platform for my brand because we credentialed about 1,000 people, media people from around the world to cover the finals. And when you work in sports, you're on the hot seat every day. You're hired to be fired. And so I had a chance right away to go to the Houston Rockets or to Toronto, which they didn't have players or coaches in Toronto. And I thought, well, I don't even know anybody in Canada. It's startup, it's expansion. I haven't done that before, so what the heck, I'll go give that a try. So I thought my initial contract was 14 months, and I thought I'd be here for a couple seasons, and that was 23 years ago. And it's become home. I got my citizenship, and I say I'm American by birth, Canadian by choice. That's my story. So I came here to help create the Raptors organization and launch a new product.
How important it is for you to validate quickly as opposed to waiting to have a product and get it out there, get it all ready?
In the early days of the Raptors, we sold the teams that came in to play us. We didn't have great players. How you stock an expansion team is you take the players that were cast off from the other teams. The players nobody else wanted, they came to play for us. So what we did is we marketed the other teams. So when Michael Jordan came to town, we had 35,000 people at the Rogers Center. They didn't come to see Damon Stoudemire, frankly. They came to see Michael Jordan. Once our teams became stronger, then we could shift the focus to marketing ourselves, as opposed to just the NBA experience. So you have to be realistic about your product, and it helps to start conservatively and not with any grandiose projections or promises. We just wanted people to come have a good time and experience high-level basketball and see the great players for the other teams. And we got our players out in the community a lot, so we had good guys, so we had good people. And so we put them out and meeting with sponsors and community members, and it just grew.
You're talking about the entrepreneur journey, building your team, you get something like Vince Carter comes in, and that's going to be a huge difference when it comes down to your fan base and just getting people to recognize the Raptors, to all of a sudden, oh my God, it's a massive shift in the demographic. So what was that process like to all of a sudden get so big? And then how did you manage that considering you only had a team in the game of like 13, 1400?
Vince helped a lot. There's a good Netflix movie out called The Carter Effect. If you like basketball, I'd recommend it. Vince was a game changer. Because he was a very charismatic individual, he's a great player on the floor, he was a charismatic player on the floor. And I can say that's one advantage Toronto had over Vancouver. We had athleticism. That sells. So that really helped. Vince himself is a charismatic person.
One of the challenges that I find in my business is knowing when to pivot, no pun intended. Because you invest so much, right? And then you're like, this is not working. I need to change my strategy. So what would you say would be the balance for you in knowing I need to keep going at this a bit longer in this marketing initiative, or I need to scrap it?
I think one of the keys to success, no matter what it is you're doing, is being a really good listener and knowing who to listen to, because everyone's going to have an opinion, but some people's opinion should carry more weight, and I think demands more weight. And so I think you have to be a good listener and be mindful of who you're listening to. You can't just listen to critics and the haters and the people that want to knock you down, because those people are going to be out there, whether they're competitors to your business, or whether they don't like you personally, or they don't like what it is you're selling, whatever reason it is. To me, I think the key to success is strategic planning, and that's one of the things that I bring to businesses. So one of the services that I sell in my business is strategic planning.
3 keys of lessons of success for people that something to take away.
Keep your overhead low and your network wide. First piece of advice I got when I started out, best piece of advice I got. Be a really good listener and be thoughtful about who you're listening to. And be open-minded to where that next great idea might come from. It doesn't necessarily have to come from between your own ears. It could come from somebody in your family, or a friend, or a former coworker, or somebody you sit next to on the subway. Just be really attuned to what's going on around you and be open-minded.
Yeah, lots of great information, I guess, in terms of the presentation.
It's always interesting to hear, number one, what the feedback is, and number two, what questions do people have that you would have never thought about asking before?
Meeting a lot of entrepreneurs and learning from different experiences.
Great experience. We had a phenomenal speaker.
You know, it was just a great talk. I recommended coming to Brampton Mastermind.